Hi, I'm really excited. I found my chipboard. Yay. Okay, I don't really have a lot of space on the front of this. We're going to continue decorating, but I am going to see if I can find maybe this little butterfly we could put up here. That would be stinking cute. So the one thing about Graphic 45 chipboard is when you punch them out of the big board, and you can see I've used quite a few of these on the other project. When you pull them out of the chipboard, they leave sometimes a little bit of a, where it was punched, they keep it attached a little bit so that they don't completely fall out. So you'll want to go ahead and use your sandpaper to clean that up so that it's looks nice. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to smudge this using my Vintage Photo Tim Holtz Distress Inks. Yeah, it'll just make it pop a little bit, which is really cool. And I get my glue. Most of the time I try to put this in my shirt, but sometimes, especially if we're back and forth doing a lot, you'll see me throw it over here. I just worry that I'll lose it. My husband's had to help me find it so many times. Okay, oh, that's cute. I like the butterfly. Yeah, so we're going to push that down. Let me go ahead and flatten that out so I have a little bit more sturdy table under there. So that's really cute. Okay, so the next one I want to do, and let me put my pin back in. I know I'm not trying to nag you, I'm trying to remind myself. To put my pin in, to protect my cutting scoreboard, to do this, to do that. So you'll hear me, I'll say those things, and it's for me. If it reminds you, hey, that's nice. Okay, so let me scroll up my sleeves. We're going to cover this with a page first, and then we're going to make a pocket. And I want to make a double pocket because I want to be able, let me show you this one. I am going to do some of these the same that we did on this one. This pocket has two openings so that you can put two things, and so they look a little bit like they're actually, see, so I can put something else in there. It looks like they're actually staggered, which is kind of pretty. I think that's kind of cool. So let's go ahead and find a piece of paper that we like for this. And I think I'm going to use a darker paper for this one. And I think I'm just going to use something basic like this. So I'm going to move this a little bit, get my cut and scoreboard. How many of you, oh, that's one of those little bugs. I thought we got rid of all those. I don't know if you remember me last fall. I'd gotten a new plant, and I thought I had checked it. Usually I keep it out in my garage until I'm sure that, you know, we've haven't brought bugs home, and I thought I had done that, and boom, there I had a infestation of these little gnatty kind of things that just annoying. And so I think they're back. Oh, my husband will have to work on getting rid of that for me. I don't like bugs. And we've never had a real bug infestation until we got these stupid little gnats. Okay, I'm looking for my ruler. I'm going to use this one, the bigger one. Okay, so we know that this is 4.5 wide, and it is at the top, at the big part, it is 5 inches. So I want to make sure that I do this at 4 7/8. And then I want to make sure that it's at 4 3/8. Okay, I might keep that. That would make a nice little. Oh, do I want to use that one? No, no. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there and kind of measure it. Yep, that leaves me a very nice edge around all of it. And so I'm going to put my tick mark exactly where I want it to cut so that I have pretty much the same amount of edging. And in order to do this, remember, I don't like to start from my short square edge here. I try and find my tick mark, and then I put my tip mark on my cut edge, and I put my corner on my cut edge, and then I drag down from my tick mark, because I think I've told you this, because when you try to cut from the small part, sometimes it bunches up and it gets all ripped up and it's not nice looking. So, and see this, I'm going to remind myself to do that so that I don't break it off. Okay, ladies, and gentlemen, if there's guys that are watching, we're really glad to have you. I'm going to go ahead and smudge this on my edges. And I put a little bit more on these bottom corners. And so then I'm going to glue this in. And this is one of those times that I'm going to try and hope that I don't lose my pen because I didn't put it in my shirt. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to open that up because I want to have a flat edge to push against, and because there's quite a few under there, it won't actually have a nice strong edge to push against. Okay, that looks good. So, if you have something fun, for example, to make your pocket with, oh, here we go. Some of these would make fun little pockets, side pockets maybe. Let me see what else I have. There's not much in this one. Let me look in here, see if I have any. Yes, I do. Look at that. So, as you know, I'm using both the 12 by 12 and the 8 by 8 of the Cottage Life from Graphics 45. So I'm thinking that one of these would be just about perfect. Now I have a dilemma. I want to be able to teach you how, I'm going to put that away. I want to be able to teach you how to make the slash in here. So I'm not going to use something like this. I'm just going to use another piece of paper because I don't really have anything. Okay, this will work. And I'm going to go ahead and make it just a little bit smaller. Let's take a little bit off both sides so that it looks a little bit even. I want it a little bit smaller than the width of my, oh, actually, yeah, I might use this side. Okay, so I'm going to just take off a very small piece on both sides. And that's perfect. It's 4.5 inches, or 4 inches wide. We know that that page is 4.5 inches wide. And so we don't actually want this to be as big. I want a little bit of blue to show on each side of this pocket. And I am going to keep it, see, there's another one of those little bugs stuck on it. It's all right. We'll get rid of them. I hate to get rid of my plants. That's what's driving this. So this is almost 3 inches. I am going to cut this down so that it is exactly 3 inches. Oh, let me put my pen, see, in my glue so that it doesn't dry out. And I'm going to make this exactly 3 inches tall. Okay, yeah, it is just a little bit off, very little bit. Shut that, pull this. So let me show you how I'm going to go ahead and make that little slit here so that we can have 2 pieces. It's just kind of cute looking. So I'm going to look at this, and I want the top part to be right about there. Actually, the easiest way to do this, I think, is if you have one of these clear rulers. They are absolutely fabulous for this. I'm going to come 3/8 of an inch down, and my 3/8 of an inch line is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and okay, I want it to be about 1, 2, 3, about 1/4 of an inch in. So let's mark that, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's mark that, and then I'm going to draw a line right there. Okay, so I will be back in just 1 minute. So scrapbook.com had the magic mat. I don't know if you've seen this. They had these on sale, and so I got a big one for my Big Shot that cuts dies, and then I got several of these little ones. Some of them I'll use in my Big Shot when I'm using smaller dies. I have the great Big Shot. It's very wide so that I can use bigger dies, but sometimes I use smaller dies and they'll fit just on this, and a lot of the girls are using these instead of those hard plastic. I don't think they're plastic, but they're very hard, and then they don't ruin, these don't ruin like those do. And so I got about 4, I think, of these, and 2 of the bigger ones. They were on sale. They were less than half price. It was a fabulous sale. And I'm sorry I wasn't doing a video to show you that, to send you there. Just watch. Get on their mailing list. They send you all kind of sale things. So this magic mat, what I'm going to do is, instead of clean off my whole table so that I can get to my larger self-healing mat, I'm going to use this one, this smaller one. And then I also have, these come in really handy. I love these little knives, and if you just have one of them, that's fabulous. You don't need the whole set. You just need one that you can use. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on here, and then I'm going to put my little knife, and I'm going to actually make my little tick up this way so that I can see where to start and stop. And I'm going to go ahead and put my knife, my ruler, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut. And before I lift it, I'm going to see, nope, I got to cut just a little bit more. Once you lift it, it's really hard to get it placed again where it's supposed to be. Oh, there we go. That was way good. Okay, and before I cut any more, I'm going to go ahead and erase my top line. I'm not going to erase my side lines because those are still going to give me a little bit of a sense of where to put my ruler. So there's my first line. I'm going to go ahead and put my second line just a wee bit below that. Not very much, maybe 1/8 of an inch, if you can adjust that. And you can see I'm trying to line up my sides so that I make sure I get it very square. So there's where I started. I'm going to start here. Okay, so then the next thing you'll want to do is you're going to go ahead and cut those edges. And then you're going to cut the other side. Okay, and you can just kind of pull that out. Okay, I didn't get it all cut, but if you just pull it gently, it'll come. It looks good. So then I'm going to go ahead and erase these side marks that I made because they will detract. Someone sees those and they'll think, oh, she's not very neat. And I'm not extremely neat, but we do the best we can, don't we, guys and gals? Okay, so after you've done that, I'm going to go ahead and smudge this. Now, this inside is just a little bit hard to smudge. So what I do is I go from the back. I don't want to go from the front because I'll get ink all around here. But if I go from the back and I get ink anywhere. Actually, I was going to use this side. No, I'm going to use this side. It won't dirty up the pretty part of your page. And so just go ahead and get your little ink, just a little bit of that coming through, smudges that pretty nicely. Now I am having a harder time getting these edges, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's the least of my worries. Okay, so I'm going to put this away, at least put it over there, and I will put these over here. So what we're going to do is, I want that to be flat. What we're going to do is we're going to put just a small bead of glue on 3 sides. You don't want to do the side that has your cut part, but you do on the back of your picture. You want to go ahead and put a small bead of glue. And I'm going to put my bead here and here and across the bottom. Excuse me. We had French toast. I made French toast this morning. Oh, that was so good. Okay, and then you're going to try and get it pretty much centered between the sides so that you have a little blue on each side and a little blue at the bottom. Now, I have pinched that just a little bit at the top so that I have some room. And by pinching, I mean pushing these sides in just a little bit, see, so that I can get something in there a lot easier. And I'm going to burnish this down really well. Now, okay, now, if we want to cut some of these pretty little things out here so that we can put those in. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me cap up my glue because I'm going to be a while before I get back to it. Okay, so you can do this on your cut and scoreboard. I'm not gonna do it on my cut and scoreboard. I am going to see, okay. This one I'm going to make just a little bit smaller, so I'm going to cut it into the pink. Because I'm going to put this in the front one. And before I cut that bottom off, I'm going to go ahead and put this in here to make sure. Okay, I can cut the bottom off. Sometimes if you cut them too small, then you have a harder time getting them out. And I think I showed you one that I had to put, yes, this one. This was just a little too small. The entire picture fit in here. So I made a half of a circle so that it didn't get lost and you didn't know it was in there. So now that I see that, I can pull that. So that's another trick you can do. If you get something too small for in this part, you can make a little half moon, or even put one of your little chipboards on there. Now this second one, I'm going to go ahead and cut the entire picture out because that back part is just a little bit bigger. Not by much, but it's a little bit bigger. And again, once you check to see if it's going to fit. If it doesn't fit, you can always take a little bit more off. That's not a big deal. You can't add stuff back, ladies and guys, but you can always, always, always. Okay, that looks good. I am going to take a little bit of this bottom off because it's just a little too tall. Yeah, and I'm trying to keep it below my edge. So let's go ahead and burnish this. Now, we are at 20 minutes. I like to keep my video, I do a few that are very long, but I like to keep my videos short because once I get, for me, and I know there are a lot of lovely ladies that do videos and they have an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I enjoy those too. But for me, I am here to help newbies, and once you've outgrown me, feel free to go find some other people that really, you know, that you can keep up with or keep whatever. I'm not here to collect a lot of people. If I were, I'd go pay $100 to get 2,000 members. And some of these girls, they don't do that. They actually are talented enough. They have a lot of followers. I'm here to help. I'm just here. I'm a teacher. I'm not a money maker. I'm not wealthy. I just am here to help you. So I want you to know that if you outgrow me, I'm really tickled. That makes me happy. That makes me feel like I've been. If you want to stay with me until you're finished with paper crafts, I'm happy with that too. I just want you guys to enjoy this, to learn. So saying that, what I want to tell you we're going to do is when you look at my big book, all of the back has been covered before we put on the fancy things. There's always pretty backs. Now, some of them I have put maybe 1.5 inches of this and 3.5 or 3 inches of that. So we're going to do a page like that just to kind of show you, and then I am going to let you get to it and at least let you put papers on all the backs. Then our next video, I'm going to come back and show you some of the fun things that you can add on top of that. So let me push this to my side. Let me get another piece of paper. Now I have a blue on this side, and I want to go ahead and try and keep a blue. And a lot of times in that tutorial, they keep the same. If they keep a blue on this page and they just want to do a strip, they will try to do the same color strip, and I'm going to do that. So what I want to do is I want to make sure I at least get this. Okay, so that's 5.5 inches tall, and I'm going to use the pink and blue. So I've chosen my 2 papers. And I want to do, what did I say? 5.5 inches. Okay, so I probably don't need the entire 5 inches because I'm not putting it the entire way across. I am going to take about, let's take 1.5 inches. Okay, so I have 1.5 inches that I'm going to put here because it matches my background there. Oh, and you know what? I didn't make that tall enough. Okay, that's just fine. I know how to fix that. I will save that because I can use that for some other project. This will be long enough, and I'm going to cut 1.5 inches. Okay, there we go. Let me move that up so I don't cut myself. So I have this piece that I want to put here, and I also want to make it so that it's just a little bit shorter. Oh, where'd my little pencil go? Oh, there it is. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to make my mark just a little bit below my black edge. There we go. And I will cut that, smudge it, and then glue it in. So I have one edge. Okay, now I'm going to show you girls another little trick. If you have very small pieces like this, sometimes you'll want to take your knife right into the middle of it, go one way, and then come back and go the other way. That way you won't get this chewed up. It won't get chewed up. I'm going to close that so I don't break it. I'm going to smudge this. And I'm going to glue it in. So I want it to go that way. And I'm going to keep it away from the top and the bottom and the side just a little bit. And then I'm going to get my pink piece. Oh yeah. And I'm actually going to butt these up. So what I want to do first of all, I'm going to go ahead and butt them up, and then I'm going to find the edge of my chipboard and make my little tick mark. Then I'm going to bring it down kind of even with the blue page at the bottom here. See, I forgot to put my needle in. This is when my glue dries up and won't come out. Okay, so anyway, we have our tick mark on this side, and I'm going to go ahead and line these up. I want to line them up at the bottom as close as I can get, and I'm going to go ahead and make my tick mark at the same place the blue is, and then I'm going to go ahead and mark over here. So when I get my board out, I'm actually going to cut my angled one first. So I find my first tick mark, and there's my second tick mark. Okay, so oh, hi boy, I'm coming. My husband's home. I'm gonna go and help him, ladies. Let me get this cut for you. So once we've done that, then you can smudge it and glue it in. Now, this is going to be the end of today's video, so I'm going to close here, but I will see you tomorrow. I'm so glad you came, and join me again on our next video, and we will go ahead and do some more little tricks to make this fun. If you want to, you can cover more of your bases, your backs, or you can wait for me for the next video. All right, thanks. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.